My God, it's cold. Hey up! Well, hey! Welcome back! Out on Little Norman, the classic 350 here. On a very, very cold winter's day. Albeit bright and sunny for a change. We've just seen the back of another anticyclonic gloom. It's about 2 degrees, maybe it's 3. But Norman's in his element with these here Mitas 50/50 tyres. Aye, so what's been going on then? What's been happening? Well, bits and bats of news. I mean, from my perspective, the issue of most interest recently has been the challenges faced fitting a Decat pipe to the BSA Goldstar, which has been far from straightforward for reasons which I will go on to explain and indeed to illustrate, and you can see what you think. But something that any of you good people out there who own a BSA Goldstar 650 or are about to own one or aspire to own one, something you definitely need to know before you go about buying and fitting a Decat pipe. And it's not really to do with the wisdom or otherwise of fitting something like a Fuel X or getting it remapped after you've done so. I know there's various opinions concerning that. It's something different altogether. Bit of a structural issue. So just hang around for that, and I'll tell thee and I'll show thee. Hot off the old press, I'm on the press circulation list for Moto GB. As you may be aware, I've reviewed a lot of bikes from the Moto GB dealership, and indeed a couple of the bikes that I own were bought from there, the CF Moto and Little Norman here. So they have parted company with, I think, which is a polite way of saying dispense with the custom of Hanway and Royal Alloy. And if you're not familiar with those brands, and I wasn't familiar with Hanway, but they seem to make smaller capacity bikes, 125cc and what have you. Oh, tractor gate. Hanway, so Moto GB no longer doing business with them, and Royal Alloy to make scooters. And in fact I had the general misfortune. I think Appleyards were having a laugh when one of my bikes were in for a bit of service work. They gave me this here Royal Alloy scooter. I think it was a 300 or a 350. Bloody horrible thing. Oh, I didn't get on with it at all. Apart from looking a complete tit on it. It just not for me. Scooters, sorry. Not for me. And definitely not that particular Royal Alloy scooter. So over here, Andy's internal sat nav's been playing up by the looks of it. Ooh, this is a bit bright, isn't it? Blimey. That's better. Hey, so Moto GB no longer in partnership or in collaboration with, or acting as a retailer for those two brands, Hanway and Royal Alloy. Just occurs to me that Moto GB are really concentrating on some of the more mainstream. Hey, it looks like time for a conference. Okay.
Not sure where we're going.
Hey, we are on Galfay Road.
What was that little village? What was that we've just been through?
Galfay. Galfay. Galfay's off the Ripon Road, innit? I suspect this leads us back onto the Ripon Road. Do you want me to program something in here like Massam? 5 miles to Massam. So let me put my thing on. Do you want me to lead on? GPS connected, 3 mile turn left, right, off we go. Just goes to show, even us old Yorkshire sweats can get lost in these little nudgery switchbacks. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think Moto GB are sort of concentrating now on some of the now more mainstream Chinese brands, which I think is a good thing. So your CF Motos, your Moto Marinis, your Vosges, your Coves, etc. Benelli. So what the reason is for parting company, I don't know, but I'm sure there's some strategic business rationale to it. But beautiful out here. Hey. Do you find yourself, you get to a certain time of life, like my time of life, and you find yourself reminiscing about stuff, and it's funny how little snippets come back into your memory of times gone by. And I don't know what sparked the memory, but I suddenly found myself back in 1995 at a certain police station in Bradford, which I probably better not mention because it might help identify some of the people that I'm going to refer to. But 1995, working out of a certain police station in Bradford, and I've just been promoted sergeant. I was a PC on traffic, and I'd passed both of my sergeant's exams and then passed the local assessments and jumped through a few hoops and interviews and what. I mean, I would have got promoted eventually, and so there was a vacancy in the traffic department, because very unusually I was promoted in-house. Normally back then, when you got promoted from one division, you got sent to another division, but I got kept on for whatever reason. Anyway, but we had a certain a certain chief inspector at this here, Nick, chief inspector personnel. Like, senior cops have like portfolios, and like personnel, operations support. In fact, I went on years later to be a chief inspector personnel at Huddersfield, but hey, this particular other chief inspector personnel back in 1995 in Bradford had a certain reputation. Why they gave him the personnel portfolio, I'll never know, because his from what I recall, his staff management skills were somewhat lacking, and he wasn't a Yorkshireman. Let me say that he wasn't a Yorkshireman. He was from somewhere down south, so he were an imposter, which didn't help. But one of these sort of fellas, he had a face that could turn a bottle of milk sour, you know what I mean? One of them fellas, but he had an obnoxious personality to go with it. And yeah, he could start a fight in an empty room, this fella. No two ways about it. Pretty confrontational in nature. So there were a vacancy in road traffic, courtesy of me getting promoted at this here Nick. And back then in the day, there used to be like a smoker's corner just outside the back entrance to the police station, where all the cops came and went, coming to work, going out on patrol, etc. And there'd be like every morning there'd be like 5, 6, 7 cops there that smoked, having a fag and a brew and a general chat. And one of these particular lads, right good lad, he was desperate, absolutely desperate to get in traffic, absolutely desperate to get into traffic. Just bear with me, Mrs. Satnav's talking to me here. At the end of the street, turn left. Yeah, it's brought us back out on the Ripon Road, so we're gonna go in Ripon to Massam. The main Ripon to Massam Road is where we're going to be taking. Right, so yeah, and with this particular lad, he were desperate to get in traffic, and of course my vacancy were there to be filled, so he'd done his application and jumped through all the hoops and scratched the right backs. And so he'd done all that, and the results were eagerly awaited by all the applicants. I think it's fair to say there was some considerable anticipation. Some considerable anticipation of just hang on, where we're going here. We're going Bissungate. Andy obviously knows where he's going now, so I'll let him crack on. So yeah, there were eager anticipation, because there'd be quite a few applicants for this here job, and there'll have been an interview process, a selection process, and all the usual carry on. And so this particular officer, anyway, one morning in Smoker's Corner, right back door, and who should come in but this here particular Chief Inspector Personnel, who would have, as soon as they became available, the results of the selection process for this here job. And so as he approached his back door to go into the nick, this particular officer, waiting for his results, said, "Hey, boss, have you by any chance heard the results of the road traffic selection process?" And he just says, "Yes, you failed." Just like that. "Yes, you failed." Walked past, we just went in nick into his office. Oh, Lord of mercy. Now that, you know, a picture of tact and diplomacy. Of course, it probably wasn't the wisest thing, was it? I wouldn't have thought necessarily for the officer in question to ask in front of all his colleagues. But I think the best that he could have expected, or probably was expecting, was for at least this here Chief Inspector to say, "Yes, I have, come and see me in my office and we'll discuss it." But no, it was just a straight up, "Yeah, you filed." And that was what he were like, and he had a lot of form for being exceptionally blunt, and it became the stuff of legend. And there were other examples of it where it left like female officers in tears because he'd been that blunt. Oh, about their success or otherwise in various aspirations. But he sounded like, he had a bit of a strange voice. He sounded like Zippy out of Rainbow. Do you remember that Rainbow? Hey, Rainbow, with Jeffrey and Bungle the Bear, some gadger in a big bear suit cocking about. And then there were two puppets who were like a pink hippo called George, and there was Zippy. And this here gaffer, this Chief Inspector, he sounded just like Zippy out of Rainbow. You know that? "Oh no, it isn't. No, it isn't." Sounding like that. And hey, always reminded me when he went off on one. Reminded me of Zippy in the Rainbow children's series. Hey, do you remember that? Rainbow. Yeah, George the Hippo and Zippy. Aye, George the Hippo. "You're a very, 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 very silly boy, Zippy." "Oh no, I aren't." "Oh, fuck off, George." Hey. No, he never said that. Oh Lord, hilarious. Right, it was just like that. Hey, characters you meet. and I don't know why I remember it, why it just sort of materialised into my collected memories of times gone by, this particular fella. But at that time, at this particular nick in Bradford, a lot of the gaffers were just crackers. We just seemed to have a batch of senior cops that had a screw loose. Oh. Aye, any road up, yes, BSA Goldstar. If you are thinking of fitting a Decat pipe or an aftermarket exhaust system like the ones offered by Tech and Hitchcock's and More Speed Racing, well, what I can tell you is I got the one from Hitchcock's, and it's not compatible realistically if you have fitted to your BSA Goldstar the BSA genuine engine dresser bars. And I'll just show you some pictures here. But I went through the process, and as you can see, once you have the Decat pipe positioned at the cylinder head, and then you put the silencer back on, push it all the way back on and tighten it up, your exhaust hanger points are about 2 centimetres too far forward and too low for the mounting points on the bike, and there isn't enough give to be able to manipulate them into place. Now what I did was I just secured the exhaust at the back with a cable tie, just to fire the bike up and see if there were any exhaust leaks anywhere. And to be fair, there aren't, because half of me thought, well, if it's out where the hangers mount to the bike, then surely the fit at the exhaust head into the engine, surely that's not snug. But there's no leaking from there at all. I did put a new gasket in and did what you're supposed to do, tighten it up a bit at a time on either bolt, but it seems absolutely gas tight there. But yeah, the Decat pipe, the down pipe's physically touching the dresser bar, and pretty much the whole exhaust, the main body of the exhaust, is about 2 centimetres too far forward. So I've two choices. Let me know what you think. I've two choices. I can either just forget it, take the pipe off, put the Decat back, put the cat back, the catalytic converter, put that back in and reconnect the old down pipe and just go back to stock and keep the dresser bars. Alternatively, I can remove the dresser bars and run with a Decat pipe, but have a bike without any crash protection. That's the other option. The other option which I'm thinking of, I can quite easily fabricate a bracket to make up for the 2 cm gap between the mounting lug on the exhaust and the mounting point on the bike, so that it is secure there. My only concern there is everything as sort of flush and stable as it should be at the header end? But it feels like it's absolutely fine and secure, and it's not leaking any gases, and so I don't know. What do you think? I did go through the fire up the bike, leave it running for the ECU to learn about the new exhaust setup, let it run until the fan came on, waited till the fan went off. But sure as sure, I think this has happened to a lot of people, the engine light came on. So when I last looked, the engine light were on. I suspect that I can reset that. I've got an OBD2 reader and an adapter to be able to fit it to the BSA. But that'd be that. So yeah, had I realised that they weren't compatible, I wouldn't have even started. But having spent half a day now taking the cat off, putting the new pipe on, etc, etc, I'm sort of not particularly keen to have to do it all over again in reverse. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Oh my words, we were going to go up round the Horseway, but it's just way too cold. So, from a freezing cold Massam in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales, thank you for watching my nonsense and drivel. Listen to me drone on once again. And until the next time, and in the meantime, ride safe, be kind, and I'll see thee.